Hi, it's Karen at RT Systems. We're going to meet the Radioddity VB70B radio through the programmer from RT Systems for it. What you're looking at here on the screen is the radio as it came out of the box, other than I have reduced the lamp, menu item number 24. I've reduced that to 9 so it would photograph better. And that's the RT Systems cable you see sticking out of the mic jack. Let me tell you a little something about that mic jack. It's tight. It has caught me 3 times on the programming cable and twice on the microphone. Think I'm plugged in good and then nothing works. Push a little harder. You'll know when it's clicked in there all the way. And you cannot push too hard, but you can definitely stop too soon. Keep that in mind when it comes to the mic jack on it. Looking at the ad for this radio, it shows it's a 70-watt, 2-meter radio with airband and 510 channels. Well, that's great. Let me warn you, the manual that we got shows 2 meters and 440 and shows only 200 memory channels. This time the ad is right. Let's see how that translates into the program. 510 channels, 510, they're all right there on this screen for you. It does have limit memories and it has VFO, but we're mainly interested in the memories. I can enter anything 2 meters. If I try to do something in another band, the programmer helps me by telling me that I need to enter a valid receive frequency. Checking 440, I get the same message. I can type in frequencies. If somebody's given you a list of 4 or 5 of them, just type them right in. The programmer will help you by knowing that it should automatically be a minus or plus offset. You're ready to set the tones up, pick your value, and this channel's ready to go. Another way that I can put memory channels in, I can go File and External Data. If I use Radio Reference, it requires a subscription. I can use Repeater Book, or I can use the frequencies lists that we publish. And remember, anything in the frequency list, just because they're in here, doesn't mean we're going to make the radio transmit there. It listens wider than it transmits. So let's go back to Repeater Book. We're going to go around Hogansville, Georgia, 50 miles. We want 2 meters only and tell it OK. This is not a programming file. This is a data return to make sure, 1, I'm in the area I expect to be. 2, I can click on distance here and resort everything so they're near to far or far to near. I can decide at the bottom the name. Well, can it be the city? Do I have that much room in the display? Let's go back over here for a minute. Name. 7 characters. If I try to put these city names in 7 characters, I'm going to get the first 7 characters. While that may be great for you, it may not be the best information. I'm going to leave it at call sign, but I am going to leave the city in the comment. That'll give me the entire city. So if I decide to print this information and carry it with me, I'll know where the repeater is. Now I'm going to create the file, but I want it in with those other frequencies. So I'll copy, and I did that highlight by holding the mouse while I dragged across the channel numbers. And I come right in here and paste. Now I have everything in one file to go to the radio at one time. But there are a couple more things I need to look at before this is ready to go to the radio. One is squelch mode. This is very important. If I want tone to work as tone, which is to the repeater only, does not block the audio on a signal coming back to me, I need this to be set to carrier, which it is for all of them, except this first one, so I'm going to change it. If I want tone squelch to work as tone squelch, where it transmits the signal to the repeater to let me in, and it blocks signals coming back to me unless they have the same tone on them, I need this set to CTCSS DCS. But as easy as programming is here, rather than from the face of the radio, coming down through here and finding the tone squelch and resetting them is a hassle. So I'm going to show you a little trick. Edit, sort. I'm going to sort on tone mode, all channels, and OK. Look at this. All my tone squelches are right here together. The first one is already CTCSS DCS as I need it. I'm going to Control C. I'm going to Shift down arrow. I like doing that because it's easier for me to keep it in the column. You can use your mouse if you want. And I'm going to Control V, which is paste on a Windows machine. This is my last one, and this one's set. And that got them all done. Just that quick. But wait. These channels were sorted by distance from me. I want to leave them in that order. Edit, undo sort. The sort and undo sort work as long as you do not save the sorted file. If you save it, it loses the sort and there's no way for it to unsort. So remember that if you're going to use it temporarily so you can do some editing, don't save the file until you undo the sort, and it'll work just fine for you. The selections I made stayed, but now they're back in the order they were when I dropped them in here originally. I can even look at it for 147.33, 147.33, 146.77, 145, right back in the same order that I had started with. This is the untitled one that I'm working in. The other two are just there. They're not affecting anything right now. Next is settings and radio menu settings. Display mode. Frequency will let me see just that. Channel, be careful with. You could lose some functionality. In some radios, this channel selection makes it more like a commercial radio. And name. I could see those call signs if that will help me with working with the channels. So I'm going to leave it on frequency, and I want it in memory when I finish sending this, and I want my backlight set to 8. My squelch level, squelch you need to know how to set from the face of the radio, because in the south part of the county you may need it on 2, and on the north part of the county you may need it on 4. So depending on where you're driving that day, may need to adjust the squelch so you hear everything that you want to hear. Close, apply changes and close, file, save, give it a name. You would hate for all that work to go to waste. Now, I have done the communications get data from radio. You just didn't have to watch me do it. That identified the radio into the programmer, but I don't have to do it every time before I send a file to the radio. I'm going to do communications and send data to radio. And I'm plugged in, I'm turned on, and I tell it okay. You can see on the radio, it's beginning to receive the data from the computer. This one is a little slow, not as slow as I've seen others, but we'll wait for it. All done. It cycles off and back on, and it's in memory mode. I turn the knob, and I step through my channels. Just that quick. You're up and running with your local repeaters and ready to meet new friends and have a lot of fun with this radio. But I have one more thing to show you. This is kind of like telling a child not to touch a hot stove. So I trust you will take this as a warning and not a temptation. I'm going to press and hold the function key so I am in the set mode. You press the button on top to move through the set mode, and I'm going up to number 27. Code of. Well, it's actually code off. This is pin setup in the manual we have. This is a password. This is a password that keeps you from getting into your radio. This is a wonderful feature if you have a way to set the password. And nothing we found led us to know how to set that password. If you turn this on and you don't know what that password is, you can possibly lose your radio because you'll never be able to get past that password because reset is in the menu, which means you got to get it all the way on. This may not be quite as bad as I make it sound, but that is the worst of it. Some radios we can write to them even though it's sitting on the password screen. Some radios you can reset even though it's sitting on the password screen. We are not going to risk our radio to find out what happens next. So we are staying away from menu item 27. I'm just going to come away from it. I'm going to come out of the menu. All done. Leave it alone. Now when I turn my radio off and back on, it says welcome right now. In the programmer, I can set it up so it says my call sign so everybody knows it's my radio and be up and running and playing with and having a great radio you can have a good time with. Hope all this helps. This is Karen. And remember, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. 73s.